Welcome back to my backyard snack yard. Today we're back out in my little courtyard where my plants really enjoy life because it's very sheltered from cold winds, very protected, and actually my sunniest spot too is where I hang my laundry usually. We're having a look at my finger lime, my Australian finger lime. It was sold to me about 3 years ago now as a large finger lime, so I didn't know what the color of the caviar inside was going to be, but I had my first ones last year, actually in August, so just over a year ago now. We are in the middle of September just about, and they were pink and they were so delicious. And as you can see, they're also larger than most finger limes. Most finger limes tend to be about the size of a finger, and these ones are getting ripe now, and they're just a bit fatter than fingers really. There are lots of them on this. It's been outside since May, and then I overwinter them in the house. This along with all the other citrus. Actually, finger limes are supposed to be a bit hardier than other citrus because, as you can see, the leaves are really small, and that helps them not get damaged by frost somehow. But I like to keep them inside, and also by doing so, last year when I brought it inside in September actually, I bring them in a bit earlier. I don't like to wait till the last minute because I did that one year and then the plants got a bit stressed out because it was that big change in temperatures, big swings from really cold outside to a bit warmer indoors. So taking them in now in September seems to work a lot better. They sort of get used to the gradual change in temperature. And actually here we're going to start seeing very cold temperatures. It's going to go down to 3 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 27 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow night. So I think it's time to start thinking about bringing these guys indoors. Let me get a full picture of this guy so you can see how big he is. He has grown a lot this year again. And last year when I brought him in, I did give him a prune, and that actually encouraged him to fruit once more. And so I had some fruit, I think about March time or so, which is really, really delicious to get some sort of really tropical, beautiful fruits then. And then, of course, he flowered after that. I think maybe he flowered shortly after that, maybe in April he started flowering. And that's how we get all these fruits, which are ripe now. They ripen a lot faster than other citrus. You see this one, they go from being quite dark, and then when they start getting light like this, at least on this cultivar, this one's probably ready to pick. And as you can see, some of them are still upright. Usually when they get heavy, then they tip over and hang, but sometimes the branches, surrounding branches, see this one's hanging, but usually the surrounding branches sometimes just keep hold of them, keep them upright. So really, really fun. I think there's about over 20 fruits in various sizes on the tree now. I love using them in everything. They are so beautiful. If I pick this one right here, I can show you how it looks on the inside. You can also feel they're quite firm, quite full of little bubbles. Let's take it in now. Here he is. I'm just going to try to cut him. Cut really easily. Look at this. It's not as red as he was last year, but look at that caviar coming out of there. Yeah, it's actually quite white, this one, or quite yellow. I wonder why. That's interesting, isn't it? Oh, I wonder if he tastes less sweet. What's so special about them is that all these little bubbles here are full of a really fruity lime juice. It's not as tart as lime, but it's just really delicious. And you just pop them into your mouth and they pop as you chew them, I suppose. It's really special. It's why they're called caviar limes, because it's a lot like caviar and it's natural and it's amazing. But that one has a tiny pink tinge to it. But last year, the ones I picked, and even when I picked them later on, were really pink. So I think this one could have used a bit more time. Maybe it needs some more heat, actually. Maybe it's the heat that changed the color. I'm not entirely sure, but it's funny how it's actually a white one. So it definitely seems ripe. It smells so good. This is a really, really strong citrusy smell. And it definitely tastes ripe too. So I love sprinkling them over salads, salsas, just anywhere you would use lemons or limes, but there's an added little bonus that it doesn't make anything wet, because of course the juice is encapsulated in those little juice vesicles. So yummy! So really excited to have a nice big bunch of these to pick gradually as they ripen, and maybe some of the others will be more pink. It's not sure. Very funny, the color. But let's go back to the tree. So this year has been so cold and wet that I was getting a bit worried that the tree was going to get root rot, because it was just consistently wet and it wasn't able to drain through, and they usually like to drain and have good drainage. But it's actually, if you look at it, it's in a really small pot compared to the canopy here. And so that means that the canopy does take a lot of the water and doesn't allow as much to go in down to the roots. But I do want to repot it now. I've got myself a really pretty pot, and I'm just going to get it all sorted. And I might trim some of the top of the canopy off to make it fit in the house as well. One thing that's also happened because of the weather probably is that we had lots of scale on the plant. I've never had scale on this guy before, so it has been a bit of a challenge, and I have been around trying to remove them. And I wonder, there aren't that many left now. I've also sprinkled the base down here with cinnamon, but because it's been so wet and rainy, then the cinnamon does wash off. And also what the ants were doing was they were creating a little nest up here. They were bringing all the yeah, there's some little scales down there too. They were bringing all the soil up, all the compost from here into this to build a little nest. And it's interesting because when my parents were in the Gambia, they had this great big grapefruit tree out in their garden. It was enormous, but it was full of like several ant nests everywhere. And so when you try to pick the fruit, the ants would sort of attack. And they were much bigger ants than these little guys. So it's not ideal. I've also heard that ants don't like peppermint. And so I have, just yesterday, I brought one of these guys here. This is my really lovely strawberry mint. It's in flower, so pretty. And I brought him to be in close proximity to the tree. I'm not really sure it's actually helping, because I don't think they seem to mind it that much, sadly. I wish they would mind it. But they're supposed to not like the smell of peppermint. So some people even spray their trees with a very diluted bit of sort of peppermint, or mixture of peppermint oil and water. So I might do that too. Let me look down here and see if they're rebuilding their nest. See, look at that. Did you see that? They are. Naughty little things. It can't be good for the tree to get all this. Yeah, look there, the ants come. Do you see them? So naughty. Look at them, little things. No, don't build a nest here. Go find another place to build your nest. So I need to get rid of all this before I bring it into the house. So I'm going to have a little look through. Look, if you look here, I don't know if you can see that, there's a scale right there. So I'm going to go through. You see, this is what's so hard about it. It's so prickly, this whole thing. And it's also hard to spot the scale. Oh, I got that one. That's good. You came off. I'm going to go and wipe them off with some alcohol I have. I'll just show you what I used to get rid of the scale. I dip my Q-tips into this, because it's really damaging for them. They can't survive at the little scales, so it's very easy just to get rid of them that way. They come right off without a fuss. But yeah, I just want to make sure I get them all off, because as I said, they're really hard to spot sometimes on these really thorny branches, and I don't want to bring ants into the house, and the ants move them about and farm them and all that kind of thing. Naughty little ants. I think it's just the tree's probably been a bit adversely affected by the weather, and then it gets a bit weak, and then the ants see a weak spot and they come for them. Some cotton there. Okay, but yeah, that's this one. I'm going to sort this one out and get it as free as I can of pests before bringing it inside before the weather. But it is looking lovely. I'm going to mix up a big batch of compost and get it into a nice bigger pot, and I'll show you how that looks when it's been done. It's always difficult, I think, to repot a plant when it's full of fruit, but I've done it before and it should be okay. There we are. It's all repotted. Today's actually quite sunny, but I'm still going to bring it inside, I think. Look how big it still is. The canopy is still so big. I actually did a tiny bit of pruning on the bottom, especially on the leaves that were really covered in scale. This little scale insects. It's really crazy how many there were. But hopefully I got rid of most of them at least, and I'll be checking on it every week. Fun weekend jobs here, just to make sure that I keep on top of them, because they're really not nice and they really multiply. But this pot actually, even though it's larger than the other one, it's actually a lot more lightweight, so much easier to carry around. Let's bring it inside. Here he is inside. He always looks so much larger in the house, but hopefully he'll be happy here. He has overwintered in this very spot for a few years now, just being so big. I really should give him a bit of a top prune, I think. I'm also going to give him a good feed now because the compost there is quite dry. He's still in the summer, so once a week I give him this beautiful feed here, which really helps them. And then by October, I'll be switching to a monthly winter feed. So, and also these, what's it called, finger limes, they tend to be a bit more sensitive to overfeeding. So I give him a weaker solution than is listed here, because usually on this one here it says to mix 1 teaspoon of this dry food here in 2.5 liters of water, and I just give it a bit of a weaker solution because these guys need that, and then the other citrus get a bit of a regular solution, so it works out fine. But yeah, I'm gonna moving on to the other citrus now. Actually, out here in the courtyard I do have my lemon tree too. I'm going to hang the laundry up in a second. But look here, the lemon tree, he's tucked away there with fig trees and grapevines over there. So it's hard to tell, but he has really branched out. So he's going to definitely need some good prunage there before coming in. And he's also full of wonderful lemons in all different states. He's a 4 seasons lemon, so he keeps on flowering and fruiting. You can see this little babies. Oh, one has fallen off there. Oh well, I don't know why that happened. I think something must have nipped it off. And there's the beautiful one there. Some over here too. And oh yeah, over here there's a little cluster of 3, of 4 actually. Yeah, and oh, here's some more too. I do always come with a little paintbrush and hand pollinate even if we're outside, just to make sure we don't waste any blossom. Look, here's some more blossom coming. It's such a treat to have these in the house later on because the flowers, of course, just smell beautiful. That's a cute one too, isn't it? And I think behind him there's another blossom coming. I like how they're pink. Really noticeable. But yeah, he's gonna need also this. I've lost quite a few leaves on these lower branches, so I'm wondering what I need to do. I think I just need to shape up the tree a bit. When I pull it out, I can have a good look at it and figure out how to shape it up. Let me just pull it out briefly. So here he is. Very large now. In quite a small pot. And I think the reason he's doing so well is because he gets that food all the time. Look up here. We get some more flowers here. It's going to be a shame to nip off the top ones. Look at these little tiny snails here. All of this, I mean, it's grown so much this summer, despite the weather we've had. It's crazy. Well, he'll have to have a prune to fit into the house. And actually, when you look at him from this angle, the sort of bare bottom leaves aren't that noticeable. So yeah, he looks really good. It's going to be so nice when the fruits turn all yellow in the winter. We can enjoy them. I was just being poked by my finger lime there behind me. Okay, but yeah, I will get him into the house too at some point once I figure out where I can put him. I think he can stay out for one more day. And then we'll see. But yeah, lots more flowers to come. How fun. Lots of lovely lemons. So that's a 4 seasons lemon. A really good one to grow here in the UK for sure. Here's one that I brought in the other day already. I was actually going to repot him, but now I haven't got a pot for him, so I'll have to see what I can do. He is actually a navel orange. He was sold to me as a blood orange, but then when he fruited, we found out that the oranges were navels. So look here, he's got some kind of bugs on him as well. I always go around wiping them off. Whoops. Let's see if we can get in there and show you. Look at that. Naughty little bugs. I'll get them off in a minute. I just wipe them off because he had some ant action too. And also what we had down here, I had stones all the way around. I've just removed some of them because I had to anchor down the tree, and I've also put lots of cinnamon down to keep the ants away because they don't like cinnamon. Look, there's ants. Naughty ants. But yeah, those stones, I needed to anchor the tree down with those big rocks because it kept on, it's quite top heavy, and it kept on flopping over and knocking over. Look, there's a lovely little snail. I really need to get rid of all these creatures when they come into the house. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a pot for him. I'm going to be doing a big repotting and reshuffling, and then I can just move him on to the next size up. I think he would really use that. He has lots of flower buds. If we look at all the branches here, we can see there are lots of flower buds, but because it's been so cold outside, he's been outside since May, then they haven't actually managed to push through or flower. So hopefully he'll do that very soon now. There's just 2 of them that flowered the other day. Let's see where they are. Oh, they're on this other side of him. So they're over here. And they have been pollinated. I was out with a brush. There's 3 of them there. So hopefully some of them will stick. There's some bugs there again. I just need to really sort these bugs out. This is the time to do it. And I have my other really lovely one here. This guy needs a spot here too. He is the actual blood orange I got as a replacement. He's an actual blood orange because he had some beautiful Sanguinello blood oranges on him when he came earlier this year. And then he flowered, and we had some fruits, but only one has stood the test of time and stayed on all summer. And now he's flowering again. And I've also been around with a paintbrush. So we got some beautiful babies coming there. Hopefully some of them will hold. All the way around there's some beautiful flowers, and they just smell so good. Look at this guy. Oh, look at these. They really smell amazing. Oh, they're so beautiful. And the smell is just crazy. So lovely. Oh. I would grow them just for the smell, but of course the fruits are a bonus, and the fruits just look so cute too. And there's another one somewhere. But yeah, it's nice that he decided to flower again because, as I said, I only have one little guy. Hopefully he'll hang on to him as well. Lovely Sanguinello orange. It's going to take quite a few months. He should be ready to pick maybe in April or something. We'll see. And the other guy I need to fit in here is my kumquat. He also has lots of flower buds, but they have not flowered yet. So I'm wondering if he's going to wait till spring now. We'll see. He's put on lots of growth this summer, so he looks lovely. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He needs lots of heat to flower and fruit, which of course he has not had. But you can see there are some little fat flower buds down here, which are looking promising. So I think I've got one more outside to show you. So this is my final one, my most recent one. He is called a rainbow orange, or archibald. And I got him earlier this year. And he already had quite a few beautiful fruits on him. Look at these, there's lots. There's a 3rd one down there. And then there are some over here. They've all been growing since I got it. And they're becoming a nice size. Look how big they are. These ones are sour oranges, and they're stripy, so it's super pretty. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to have it, and I'm looking forward to watching it grow. And it's also just pushed out a few new flowers. Not that it really needed to, but it has. I've also had to sprinkle him down with some cinnamon to get rid of some ants that were working their way up, and I think they've gone now, luckily. And also I had to anchor it down with some rocks because honestly it was tipping over as well, even though it's really pushed in against all these plants. It was kind of like there was so much wind and so many storms and everything, so it wasn't ideal. But yeah, I've got a few baby fruits coming here. I think these ones look more promising. I've also been now with a little paintbrush. There, those ones are good-ish. At least some of them do. I think maybe one of them or something might hold on to that one. You can see that one's looking yellow already, so I think he's going to drop in a second. But yeah, that was nice. I think there's some more flowers coming soon, but I'm going to bring this guy inside as well so we can continue ripening these fruits. Let me take him out too so you can see exactly how he looks. Yay, he's not too big. He hasn't grown as much as the others. I don't want to keep him out here for too long because it's quite windy still, but I'm going to repot him. You see, he's been in this pot all summer, and that is the pot that he came in. It's quite good compost. It was not as, sometimes when you get these plants from other countries, like warm countries, then they are quite clay soil that they're in usually, and my sister grows hers in that too in France. It's just crazy, but it's of course completely different conditions, so it's fine. But I'm going to get him into that pot that I just removed the finger lime from, and then he can overwinter in that. Oh, and I'm going to get him out of the wind now before he knocks over, and I'll bring him into the house, and he has not got any other bugs that I can see. So that's a relief, because he did have some earlier and I've just been wiping them off whenever I see them. I'm not squeamish about them anymore. I'm still squeamish about other things, but not bugs and things like that, luckily. Alright, let's get him out of this wind. So there they all are, all set up along that door. We don't actually use that door anymore. It's a little bit broken, so just as well. It makes for a nice window for the winter time anyhow. So we've got our kumquat here, straight ahead, that one. And then the blood orange, sanguinella blood orange. Then the Arcobol rainbow orange, the sour one. And then finally, the great big navel orange, which I have not repotted yet, but may do at some point if I find another pot. I did put that one, the Arcobol, into the pot that had finger lime before. Much better size for it. And it's looking nice, but of course the Arcobol itself was just in a plastic pot that it came in, so it didn't give me another pot to keep on planting on in. So I'll have to see where I can get this guy. He might just need a bigger one at some point. Maybe I can stretch it out till spring. We shall see. But yeah, I think they're going to be very happy here. I'm going to give them their big feed, which I haven't done yet, and then hope for the best. And one thing I definitely do over winter is I like to spritz them with rainwater just to keep the foliage really nice and hydrated. Otherwise it can dry out, and then that can also cause insect attacks. And I've been really going through them, looking them through and trying to make sure there aren't any more insects on these beautiful plants, but I'm sure there will be some, so I'll just keep on top of it. But yeah, I'm glad these guys are inside. All I need to do now is find space for my humongous lemon tree. Lovely lemon is still outside. I don't really know what to do with him just yet. I'll figure it out by tomorrow. And then I also have the final one is this guy. He is a red lime citrus, and I'm just not that keen on him. I think I'm going to give him away because I mean he's cute, got a really cute trunk, looks lovely, but the fruits themselves taste like kind of sour clementines, so I don't know, not that great. He's put on lots of growth. He did actually flower at one point. I think there's more flower buds coming, but he's not producing any fruit just now, so I think I'll cut my losses with him. I just haven't got space for fruit trees. I don't really enjoy, poor thing. Hopefully I'll find a happy home for him. I'm going to stuff this little guy back in his corner again so that he doesn't get blown over when the wind comes back. But yeah, I hope this hasn't been too long. I'm going to see how long it's been, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will do some updates as and when the fruit ripen, the trees that have been in the house now. And it does seem very early, but I think it's the right thing to do, just to get them acclimatized early enough, get them used to being inside for the winter. Look at this branch. It's doubled in size. I cut it back to here earlier this year and it's just completely grown out. Crazy. Can definitely do with another prune. Alright, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. I'll probably be showing you some of these wonderful Chilean guavas, my absolute favorite. They're all ripening now. They're so good. See you next time. Bye for now.